Welcome to Japan and More, where we answer your questions about traveling Japan. Today's question is, will I have to sit on the floor in Japan? Well, the short answer is probably yes. Sitting on the floor is very common in Japan.
It's a great cultural experience to sit down and have a traditional Japanese meal on the floor. So today we're going to talk about everything that you need to know to sit on the floor in Japan. We're going to talk about why it's common, when to expect to sit on the floor, how to sit on the floor, when not to sit on the floor, and recommendations for sitting on the floor.
First, let's talk about why sitting on the floor is so common. In Japan, there is tatami flooring. It is very comfortable. People will sit to dine and to sleep on the tatami flooring. In Japan, there are low tables on the tatami flooring, so it's comfortable to just sit on the floor. And usually there are some cushions.
Sitting on the floor also fits in with Japanese aesthetics and the philosophy. It promotes a sense of equality and it gives an appreciation for simplicity and minimalism. And a lot of this stems from Zen Buddhism. Traditional cultural events also have tatami floors and you will often sit on the floor. Things such as sumo, tea ceremony, religious ceremonies. So let's get into when to expect to sit on the floor. Expect to sit on the floor at traditional ryokan, the Japanese inns, also any temple lodgings. These rooms are typically tatami rooms, and they usually have floor seatings and the low table that we were talking about earlier, and they will have the futons on the floor when it's time to go to bed. Many restaurants will also have seating on the floor. Any meal that is served with tatami flooring and the low tables, especially your traditional meals like kaiseki.
And then there's traditional events. You can expect to sit on the floor if you book any tea ceremony, ikebana, flower arranging, calligraphy, sumo, meditation, and if you have any private geisha events.
How to sit on the floor. Basically, these are some tips for how to sit on the floor. Usually when you come into a room where you're going to sit on the floor, there will be some small, thin cushions that will indicate where you're supposed to sit. The best way to sit on these cushions, for men especially, is just to sit cross-legged. You can also sit seiza if you'd like, or you can sit with your legs to the side and your knees bent. And when you go to places that you're going to sit on the floor, you have to remove your shoes. You cannot wear shoes or slippers on tatami flooring. My recommendation is to wear clean socks. If you are barefoot, also, it's not really recommended to go on tatami barefoot. So if you are barefoot and you're wearing sandals, bring an extra pair of socks with you in your backpack so that way you can slip those on before you get on the tatami flooring.
So let's talk about when not to sit on the floor. In Japan, it's not common to sit on the floor in public places where there's not any tatami flooring. For example, inside the trains or train stations, and especially on stairs. You shouldn't sit on the stairs of museums or temples, shrines. If you need to take a rest, it's recommended to go to a cafe or restaurant or possibly even find a park bench, although they're not that common.
And now let's talk about recommendations. Sitting on the floor is not very common in our culture, so our biggest recommendation is to practice at home and build up your flexibility, which will make it more comfortable to sit on the floor. Do things like stretching, do yoga, practice having dinner at your coffee table. Sit on the floor and have dinner with your family at the coffee table and see what you think about it. You could have to sit on the floor during dinners in Japan for probably up to 2 hours. Sitting at the coffee table is actually really good practice if you want to give that a shot.
And when you know that you're going to be sitting on the floor in Japan, wear loose-fitting clothing so that way you have more flexibility and you're able to get up and down from the floor easier. And give advance notice. Keep in mind that sitting on the floor is very common in Japan, so you need to let people know if you will not be able to sit on the floor. If you're joining our tour, then please let us know a few months in advance so we can make arrangements. If you're on another tour, then you should let them know. And if you're traveling on your own, do let the tea ceremonies or restaurants, any place where you think you might be sitting on the floor, let them know in advance that you will not be able to sit on the floor. and they might be able to make some arrangements for you, whether they have a small chair that they can provide or extra cushions, something like that. But don't be surprised if some restaurants say that they can't accommodate. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell us your questions about traveling Japan in the comments section below. We might answer them in the next episode.
And for more information about traveling Japan, check us out at japanandmore.com. Thanks for watching.